Sean is reacting there to an announcement earlier this summer from Minister for Agriculture, Food and the Marine, Michael Creed, who announced the mandatory extension of EID tagging to all sheep from October 1st. However, after substantial backlash from farm organisations and from further engagement with stakeholders, a number of revisions were announced to the implementation of the system, and it was pushed back to June next year. Here to discuss the issue with us is John Brooks, John, Chairman of the ICSA Sheep Committee. John, why do you think the department is so keen to push through EID tagging on sheep?
Claire, it's very difficult to say, but we assume that there must be pressure from the meat industry, because if you look at this new proposals, the only ones who benefit from this is the meat plants. There's no benefit in it from farmers. It's a cost for farmers. ICSA has done the maths on it, and if you go back over the last number of years, the average margin on a lowland lamb using Teagasc figures is €14. So as Sean outlined there, if we have to spend an extra euro per lamb on a tag that's going to the meat plant, it's equivalent of taking €7 of my income and Sean's income and all sheep farmers' income. There's absolutely no need for this. As late as last week, ICSA met with the Commission, the Commission responsible for this sheep tagging and identification, and they outlined to us that as late as 2015, when this topic was discussed, that they were fully behind, 100% behind the current derogation is there. So there's absolutely no pressure from the EU to make any changes to our system. As far as they're concerned, the system we have is miles better, or there's no other system anywhere else in the world that comes near it. So, I mean, farmers are very, very angry, Claire. You can imagine for 7% of anyone's income being taken, and it causing a lot of hassle, a lot of bother. And we're a very low income sector. It's a sector that, maybe only works in certain types of land. The figures we've done is on lowland sheep. If it was applied to highland sheep, the margin would be much greater of a loss.
And is the department listening to farmers? Are they hearing these concerns?
Well, I'm sure they are hearing them. They did make an announcement, as you outlined there, that they did make some minor changes, and we welcome the change by not implementing it this October. It would have been absolutely crazy to introduce it on the 1st of October of this year in the middle of a fattening system. But at least they've listened to that, and now we're going to outline it next, or implement it coming the 1st of June next year. But the substantive issue is still there, and Sean outlined it in his part there about the €100 and the cost of this going forward. I mean, the €100, farmers have said it to me up and down the country, this has been an insult. It's like getting 100 pieces of silver to buy your soul. It's of no benefit to anybody, the €100. Farmers are very angry about it, and we would hope the department will still listen to the Commission. There's no need for this. Our system is very robust. It's the most robust system in the world.
And at the same time, John, Minister Creed is saying that by implementing this system, it will help secure other markets, to diversify the markets. And that's also something that Meat Industry Ireland are pushing as well. What is your response to that assertion?
Look, I don't buy that, or neither does any of the 33 or 34,000 sheep farmers in Ireland buy into that assertion. Our lamb, as the Commission outlined, has the best traceability system in the world. And all of these markers that's been talked about, they're all pie in the sky. They're thousands and thousands of miles away. These markers are already buying lamb from countries or regions of the world where there's no traceability, no quality assurance, no origin green, no nothing. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's unbelievable for that suggestion to come out, that all of a sudden, because there's EID in a lamb before he's slaughtered, that it's going to open up markets everywhere else for us. I don't believe it, and neither does the 34,000 sheep farmers of Ireland believe it.
Do you see any benefits to it at all in terms of practicality, enhancing flock management? Do you see any potential advantages of it?
Well, there are advantages to it, but I mean, it's the cost of it is the big problem. The margins just aren't there in sheep farming to absorb this cost. We already have all sorts of levies. When we go to the meat plant and sell our lamb, at the bottom of this levies taken off for board BIA, EIF, Sheep Ireland levies, veterinary levies, it's all sorts of levies. And we just see this as another levy. And we're saying, stop, enough is enough. You cannot take any more out of our pockets. What's happening at the moment, Claire, is when I sell my lamb, when my lamb leaves my farm, or Sean's farm, or the 34,000 sheep farmers that's out there, everybody else right down the line is protected. There's minimum wages. They're going to get a profit out of my product. But there's no protection for me or the 34,000 other sheep farmers out there. We're on our own. We bear all the risk and we do all the work and all the sacrifices. And we've no protection with minimum wages or any sort of terms and conditions. But everybody else, right up until the chef that cooks that meat, is protected under some form or other. And they're making profit on it. And we have to suffer and take all the risk and now suffer a 7% cut in our income just to facilitate the greedy meat industry.
So what is the ICSA doing about this, John? What, are you engaging with the department on the issue at the moment?
Absolutely. You know, this comes up for discussion at regular meetings, and you know there are a menu of options now that I'm not going to go into now today, but there are a menu of options there open to us between now and the implementation of this, and we're going to be continually lobbying opposition TDs, government TDs, the minister. We're going to be lobbying to try and persuade the department and the minister to see the nonsense of this. And the idea that I have to spend an extra euro on my lamb in a form of a tag. And remember, the EID tag or the tip tag, they all contain the same information. It's just a number, my herd flock number and my flock number is on it. So I mean, there's nothing magical about an EID tag. The only difference is that it can, in general, be read by an electronic system. That's the only thing. They're not all readable, but most of them are. That's the only difference. They contain the same information, but it's taken an extra euro per lamb out of Sean's pocket, my pocket, and the 34 other thousand sheep farmers out there.
What about the potential impact on mart trade, which is obviously very important to rural communities, John? Do you think that there will be an impact there in terms of competition, as only one tag will be needed to go straight to slaughter, 2 tags for other movements? Would there be an impact there, do you think, on marts?
Absolutely will be an impact on marts as well. And the marts are very annoyed over this issue as well, so they are, you know. And they're going to have to go to the bother of putting in all sorts of, putting in readers and going to huge expense over it. There will be implications. It may be that some marts will look at and say, look, for the volume of sheep trade that's going through my mart, we may stop, you know, and that's taking a service away out of the community as well. It's reducing competition for farmers to sell lamb. You know, absolutely, there are issues involved, and major issues involved with the mart trade.
Sinn Féin's agricultural spokesperson recently suggested that it could be brought in under the sheep welfare scheme, pending, I suppose, budget 2019. He suggested that payment under the scheme could be made from €10 a ewe to up to €15 a ewe. Would you support something like that?
Look, we'd support anything that puts extra money into the farmer's pocket, but I'm not so sure about that particular policy. You know, it's like the €100 again. You know, we let the market pay the farmer. If the market requires this extra EID tag, let the market pay for it. I mean, we have no benefit out of it, so if let the market pay for it, I'll let it pay for a long term. You know, the short term commitment, like what the minister has announced, €100, whatever it is, it's 100 tags. That's insignificant. It's the long term implication of this going forward. It's the long term negativity on my income and the income of all sheep farmers across the country. That's a big issue. Now, at least I welcome Sinn Féin's acknowledgement that this is a problem, and it is a problem. So, as I say, we'll continue lobbying all TDs and all political parties on this issue, and hopefully the sense will be seen and sense will prevail, and there'll be a change made between now and next May.
We'll leave it there, John. Thanks very much for joining us.